So since the COVID pandemic, some research shows a quite dramatic increase in the number of kids slow to develop language skills. And a lisp is fairly common, a common speech problem for many of those children anyway. So what's behind the increase, and how can you help your own child who is struggling? Ashley Christensen is a speech therapist who offers an online speech sound academy. She joins me with more. It's great to see you, sister.
Thank you.
So have you noticed an increase in kids needing help?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that that increase is more based on the social emotional development, because we know that globally the masks did show an increase in academic and social emotional difficulties. Although research doesn't suggest that there's a speech development impact, I mean, it makes sense. It's only natural to think that that's there, right?
Kindergartners are learning to talk with a barrier right in front of them. I still kind of can't believe that happened.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree,
today you're talking specifically about a lisp. How do we define professionally a lisp?
Okay, a lisp is a big one, and I get asked this question probably more than any other sound. It is a sound. S and Z are sounds that should be developed by age 4.
Okay.
And what we do see is there is an error for the S that is developmentally appropriate, which means that 80% of the time it's going to develop on its own.
Okay.
And that's called a frontal lisp, where the tongue is coming forward past the teeth. So like thun for sun, or like kith for kiss. So, or like zebra. So we see that, but again, without intervention, 80% of the time they figure it out.
It self-corrects. And I'm here to say it's the cutest thing ever.
It's the cutest
Which is why it's so
ever.
hard, speaking as a mom of a 5-year-old who maybe says fun, it's so hard to even jump in and want to correct it because it's so sweet.
No, but it really is. I agree with that.
I know. So at what point should we start to maybe take some supportive measures?
I think that some supportive measures for that S when it's coming out the front, 3 to 4 ideally. That doesn't mean you're too late if your child's 8 or 9 and still working on it, but it is important to show them the proper steps to do that. Now, there is another error for the S sound, another form of a lisp that is more concerning. So if your child has a lateral lisp or a side lisp, that is not considered developmentally appropriate, which means that it will not develop on its own traditionally without some kind of an intervention or without showing them the correct placement. So
what does that look like? Yeah.
So again, the front lisp, the tongue is coming out past your teeth. Thun. The side one is where there's a turbulence and an airflow out the side, like shun for sun. Or like for zebra, it'd be like zebra. So it's a turbulent sound, and sometimes you'll see it if they with the sh sound. So like sheep for sheep, or jump for jump.
I'm kind of amazed how you're going back and forth between incorrect and correct. I think that's a talent and a gift all the time.
I've learned that one over the years.
So the horizontal, if the tongue's staying in and that sound's coming out, the turbulence is coming out.
The turbulence is out the side.
At what point then do we
That one, if you see that early on even, it should be addressed. Definitely get some support as early as possible, the better, because again, that one will not generally diminish on its own.
So is it fair to say, though, if you let a lisp go on longer, does it get harder to correct?
It does.
Yeah.
It isn't impossible. So I have families, I have a 14-year-old student right now who's working on it and came in, and she's doing phenomenally well, but she's very motivated because she's having some students in dance class mocking her and things like that. So the earlier the better. I'm telling you, I mean, early intervention, the research shows across the board, makes a huge increase in their ability to learn it quickly, which saves you time and money.
You're all about empowering parents with education and tools too. So what can we do? I see your fun props. What can we do at home to help
so
this?
if your child has a S sound where the sound is coming out the front with their teeth, the biggest thing is, can they see the difference? So show them, get in front of any kind of mirror. Can they see that their tongue is coming out for the, instead of trapping our tongue with our teeth? That's a big one. We kind of like, hey, let's come up with an animal for our tongue and we're going to trap it. We're going to use our teeth to trap that tongue. So C. Now, what a lot of kids are going to do is they're going to bite down and then they're going to do this. Because they're trying to push, they're like, my tongue is supposed to go forward. And so what we just need to remind them is we're going to pull that little animal tongue back, and we're going to let the air escape and snake forward.
You're so good. Okay.
So, and then my biggest, most favorite tip for this is grab a straw.
What do we do
And
with
what
the
you're going
straw?
to do is you're going to bite down on the straw, and what it's going to do is you're going to say, keep your tongue underneath that straw. And it just gets their tongue in a placement without them having to think too much about it. So.
Oh, there it is.
Eventually you can pull the tongue or the straw away.
Yeah. Yeah, and tools like this, kind of activities like this, how often should I be working on that with my child?
Honestly, the more you're working on it, like even just a few times a day, so you don't want to discourage them, right? When your
Right.
child's like, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm not motivated.
Mom's coming at me with a straw again.
Yes. So if it just is a fun, playful thing instead of you're wrong, let's make it like, let's observe each other. Let's figure this out together. Let's make it playful. Let's watch it. Let's discover how it works. And just instead of it being that they're wrong. Also, the modeling is huge, right? Every once in a while, if they say it wrong, be like, oh, I want it. Let's try it sneaky. See, I see the sun.
Do you have one more quick one for us?
Yes. Okay. So the big thing that I do want to say for the lateral lisp, if your child has the lateral lisp, one of the biggest things is they're putting their tongue on the roof of their mouth, which is creating the need for the air to escape out the side.
Okay.
So we just need to teach them, instead of having our tongue go up to the roof of the mouth, we're going to make it kind of go down like a dish.
Okay.
So our tongue is going to go down and the air is going to escape down the middle of the tongue.
When you break it down in terms of anatomy, it becomes, I think, so endearing. I don't know if that's the right word, but you have so much compassion for these little kids that are just trying to work with the tools that they have and the placement they've known, and it's hard work.
True.
It's hard work.
It is.
You are helping parents in such beautiful ways through your online speech academy. How can they connect with you?
Oh, I would love that. Well, listen, I am so happy to bring more resources and tools like this into homes, because parents are with their child the most. They know their child the most. So if they can be applying these tips and strategies at home, it will make a huge difference.
Yes.
So we do have a Speech Sound Academy where we go through all this and the steps that give them that successful feeling of, step by step, starting at the beginning and growing to clear communication always. But tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, I have a live free webinar where we are going to go over all the things speech therapy, how to access it, community resources that are free for them, answering all of my top questions that I get all the time from parents. And it's an opportunity to come ask more questions from me directly and to just go over how to make this a fun, productive, successful experience for parents.
Is that happening on Instagram?
No, it's going to be through a Zoom link, and so they can just register with me at mymagicwords.fun/workshop.
Okay, and we will link you directly to that registration from our website. Thanks for all you do.
Oh,
Thanks for teaching us today.